Hey, good day, everybody. Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. Welcome to this week's session of Trade Your Way to Wealth. We are plagued with threes this week. You'll see what I mean when you get into the session. First, three great stocks as the market has followed through this week, and now we have a green light to go into full buy mode. I'll explain that a little bit later. And then finally, three tips from our experts about how you can reduce the noise that's distracting you from your trading, thus impacting your profits. But with no further ado, let's jump into today's session. But before we do, up in that corner, there will be a link that pops up that tells you about Autopilot Trading. That's one really great way to reduce the noise of your trading. 7 great picks every week. And we're beating the heck out of the S&P and doing really well so far in 2022. So let's get going in today's session right now. Hey, well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome everybody to Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom. I've got Steve Ferrara and Anil Parikh joining us today. We are basically, all three of us are cautiously optimistic about the turnaround in the market. And it seems like there are a lot of potential opportunities out there. It seems like it's a target-rich environment. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
And so, awesome. I know that I've looked at the three stocks that we have to talk about a little bit later today, and I'm really pleased about that. So we'll try to keep this nice, short, and sweet and to the point, and provide you some stocks that you can add to your watch list to move into next week. And then also a couple of things just as a reminder that if you are a Bay Area moneymaker, I'm going to be talking on the Bay Area moneymakers on the 22nd, which is next Tuesday, and it's about building a strong routine for more consistent profits. And I'm going to actually be presenting a brand new scoring checklist to basically help you evaluate whether or not a stock, it's the proper time to buy a particular stock, or if it even warrants getting on your list. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. And so what we're going to be, we're going to basically start your weekly review with your Trade Your Way to Wealth and Financial Freedom. That's one of my objectives that I try to do with this, is that I want to help traders trade their way to wealth and financial freedom in less than 2 hours per week. In less than 2 hours per week. Those of you who subscribe to the Autopilot Trading service, you know that you can basically, with the 5 stocks and 2 ETFs that we put out every week, you can actually get the orders input and ready to go for the next week in less than 2 hours over the weekend. So I really feel very strongly about that's what I want to do. And I'm always about trying to clarify and simplify our process so that you can get a larger return. So here's what we're going to be looking at: market index review, stock picks of the week, and then trading tips. And I've got one really great trading tip for you today, that if you are distracted by the market noise, how to get around that. So, and one of them is to learn how to simplify. So here's where we're sitting as of today, 18th, about 9 o'clock. Here's where we were last week. We were up about a little bit over 6%. We're up a little bit over 7%. Something just clicked in for me. Oh, cool. And as you can see, the indexes themselves also improved from last week. Last week, the NASDAQ and the Russell were actually in bear territory, and we've had a rebound. We've had a follow-through day. Investor Business Daily is saying that the market is back in a confirmed uptrend. And so when that happens, at least for myself and the Autopilot Trading members, we basically up our limit on how much we can, stocks we can buy, and we will go with full positions now that we are back into that strong uptrend. For protection, whenever we're in a correction or in where the uptrend is under pressure, we cut our position size by half, and it's really saved our bacon this past year, and helped us to be more profitable than the indexes themselves. So I'm really pleased with that. So let's go ahead and jump into the review of the indexes, and then we will get on to the stock picks, and then that stock tip will come, or that trading tip will come towards the end. So let's go ahead and jump over here. And by the way, Tesla is looking good. I was watching that right before we cut across into this, but let's go ahead and get into the S&P. S&P. Okay, we had a follow-through day on Wednesday. That's this day right here. Right there. We had a rally attempt. The rally attempt actually was, there was kind of a rally attempt here, and then it pulled back. It didn't undercut the low here, and so it then bounced back up, and then we had our confirmation, our follow-through day here. Some positives on the S&P that have happened here. One is the downtrend line has been broken. I look at that as being a big plus. And so what would I anticipate? Perhaps a push on up to this red line. That's a negative on the S&P. That equals the 200-day moving average. And so prices, while they're above all the other moving averages, except the 200 and the 100, it is really close to the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average. If it breaks out above that, I would think we have some pretty good free sky sailing up to about 457. Or the 100-day moving average. That's this level right here. So 453, 454. Everything looks good. Everything looks in gear, like it is ready to rock and roll. Almost a bullish engulfing for the week. And so the way I will look at trading, and we have our what I always like to watch is what's going on with the momentum indicators, and as you can see, all three of them are turning up. It appears as if prices hang right about where they are right now. I've had a positive cross on the TSI, that's the True Strength Index for the weekly chart, and so that kind of gives me a really big green light to be looking to trade stocks to the upside because of that confirmation. Now, could we get up into those the 200-day moving average and stall out? Sure, we could. But the way I'll trade this one, Stephen and Neil, is a pullback into back into retest the broken downtrend line, or we may get a pullback into about the 8 or the 200 or the 8 or the 20-day moving average, which will be right about there. Let me grab that would be basically right about that level there sometime next week, about the 435 level. So that's what we've got going on with the spiders. Again, the spiders have broken out of, or the S&P has broken above the 50. The NASDAQ has not. However, we've got everything shaping up to get in gear. We almost have a bullish crossover of the 8 and the 20. Moving at the momentum indicators are crossing up out of the bottom. Same on same thing going on. We had a 2-line cluster last week on the market forecast, and now the histogram on the MACD has also crossed to the upside. So, just the way my personal style of trading is, I like pullback trades. And so we may push up a little bit higher, but I'd be looking I want to pick up this trade off of the 8 or the 20-day moving average, which next week will be up about 340-ish. which just happens to correspond to is just slightly above that level at 334, which is the midsection of the weekly candle that you see right there. So somewhere in that level there, I like it. Like I said, I like it at 340-ish or 338 to basically, take a position and let it run from there. But a couple of positive things we have going on here. We have not quite broken above this swing high. So I won't say that we have an uptrend back in place, but we do on the S&P have an uptrend back in place. The Russell clearly has shown us that it is basically being very well behaved. We had a higher low, and now we have a higher high in place. We're at the upper downtrend line. So if we break above that, then I think we have a pretty clear range all the way up to the 200-day moving average, which is up there at 219. And that's about, what is that? That looks like about 13 points from where it is right now. On this one also, I would look for a pullback into kiss this trend line goodbye, or it may just hang right there at the 50-day moving average. And so that's what I'm looking at. I like the Russell a little bit better than the other indexes, so I'll be looking to trade options on the IWM, or I'll be looking to get into TNA, which is the 3-time leverage ETF. For our Autopilot Trading members, of course, you did receive a midweek course correction or modification to our flight strip to get us into into a trade on TNA. So, okay, gentlemen, what do you think? What do you think?
I pretty much agree with what you said. I think the market, in my view, completed a test on Tuesday, test of the lows from January.
Right.
And I took it as one day before IBD that we're in a confirmed uptrend, not yet, completely valid, but it gave me the environment to start buying.
Right.
And for most of my picks, I'm a little bit extended, but I think a minor pullback very likely. But we're in a bullish environment until proven otherwise.
Yeah, Anil.
I'm at the same place. Actually, there's a lot of good information here. Today I got a buy signal on my triple screen system on SPY as well as IWM.
Yeah.
And also I've been following the IBD long-term leaders.
Yes.
Which has been asleep for a long time. And 4 of them are waking up today, and that's ASML, CDNS, GLOB, and MPWR, which is a good sign.
Okay. Yeah. I pull that list, and it goes into my bigger list that I basically generate and bring down into the Power Rank Elite list every week that I put out to folks. And so anyway, okay, cool. So let's take a look at what stocks are we looking at as a group, and we'll go ahead and we'll start with Steve's stock this week. And Steve's stock is BG.
Okay, it's and there's several others you could consider in this area, but this is part of a group of stocks that have been in a very strong trend for a few months now. And we've had a nice pullback. I see, and we're holding pretty much at the 21-period moving average and appear to be bouncing. I like the action today, and I would be a buyer today, although you could wait to get in above today's high on Monday.
Okay.
Whatever the high turns out to be today, get in on Monday. There'll be a more conservative entry.
Right.
Or you could get a partial position right today, right now, at whatever the market price is.
Yeah, that looks really good. One of the things that I talked about in yesterday's webinar that I did was this watching the weekly charts to see where price actions are pulling back to. And you can see there's the pulled back to the 20. But those last two pullbacks have pulled right back down to the 8-week moving average, which is about the 34 to the. And so, yeah, I could see being a buyer right here. It is kind of quiet, but even if you were a buyer here, your stop loss could be fairly close.
Very close. If I got in today, it'd be today's low, would be my stop.
Okay.
Or the low 4 days ago.
Okay, I like it. Yeah.
Downside there.
Yeah, and which equates to about 2.5%. You could even stretch it if you wanted to. You could. It has respected the 50-day moving average.
Sure.
And even if you put it slightly below that, you're still looking at only 4%.
4%. I like the trade from a risk reward perspective.
Yeah,
Very,
I like it.
Very small loss potential.
Okay. And
it is a pretty strong group. The fertilizers. You can look at CF or MOS or NTR as comparable trades.
And Moss is I think MOS. Did you say MOS? Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So now let's see what O'Neill has. What his offering is. AOSL. What a nice chart, O'Neill.
Yeah, I got a signal on it yesterday.
Okay. And
on MarketSmith, it is showing blue dot. That means accumulation within base. An RS line at new high. So it's a go.
Okay. So are you buying right here? And where's your stop?
Yeah, buying right here, right now. And
okay.
The stop will be about 5%.
Okay, so the stop would be, and this is one of the things that always folks remember, just double check, where's 5%? Well, as you can see, 5% is just slightly below the low to the low of today. So just be aware of that. And so yeah, that looks really good. Now this one is a little it does on average about 600,000 shares per day, and so that's about right. Okay, that looks good. And this was in was this in the semis?
Yes, it's semiconductor.
Yeah, and it's an IBD 50.
Yeah. And so yeah, I've been watching IBD 50, and but yeah, really nice breakout here. One of the things to be looking for find a stock that does this kind of thing, puts in these kind of beautiful patterns. And then it really simplifies what you need to do to be able to trade them. It really does. One of the things that I will use to disqualify a stock is if it's not putting in good, consistent patterns, I won't trade it because it doesn't. If I can't see the pattern, I can't understand the story that the stock is trying to tell us. So excellent. So here is my pick for today. And it is definitely extended. In matter of fact, that was the alert that I got just a little bit earlier where it has blown on past. And now it's provided us multiple breakouts. I like it down against this level here, which is about the 72, 77 level. I think that's what that is. Yeah, 72.83. However, this breakout here is also legitimate at the $75 level. And so what I'll be looking for on this particular stock, everything is turned back around to the upside and moved up, broken out. I also have another level of breakout over here at the 77.75 level. Just happens to correspond to the midsection of this big green candle. So what I'll be looking at this next week is some kind of a pullback back towards the breakout areas. Now that may be $77.50, that may be $75, or it may be down here at $73. It wouldn't hurt to, if the market does go volatile again next week, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and just, throw in an order down here at the, I would go with that high right there at about $72.90 or even $73. And if it fails and drops below this level, the 72.33 level, that would be my exit point and say, hey, I'm out of here. It didn't work out. So that's, what do you guys think?
Looks good.
I love the stock, but I agree with you. I'd be looking for a pullback and evidence of a reversal before I take a long position.
Right on, right on. So, okay, because this is also one of those stocks that's a little bit light with regarding value volume, about 600,000 shares.
Yeah.
What does it do? It does. It's a biotech company.
Yeah.
So we've got a broad. We're looking at a lot of different things across this, and so I hope you guys can see that these are some stocks to potentially add to your watch list. And
I think the low volume on the breakout is really suggests it's likely to pull back, and you have a nice buying opportunity coming up, I think.
Yeah, I think so, Steve. And at the same time, though, on the breakout here, it's still above average volume.
Yes, it's above average, but it's I'd like stronger volume on breakouts.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, okay. That basically, there you guys have it. 3 stocks that we're looking at for next week. One of the things I was talking about, and this is what I'm going to be going over on the Bay Area Moneymakers this coming Tuesday night, is basically Convergence of Clues scoring checklist. I'm going to teach you how to basically score your fundamentals, score your price actions, and then score your indicators so that if you have a score of 8 or better, you'll say, okay, that's a good candidate to trade. If you have any of the things up here in the fundamentals that fail, like here, if it's out of the top 10 in the industry group, it's a no-go. I don't trade that particular stock. And so I've never seen anybody put one of these together yet. And I think that if you're looking for a scoring checklist, you're going to want to attend the Bay Area Moneymaker meeting at 6:30 Pacific time next Tuesday, the 22nd. Let me know what you think about this. You can see this in the video when the video goes. So, hey, just remember, hey, do you struggle with this spending over 2 hours per week finding strong trade setups? Well, if you do, stop it. You don't have to do that anymore. Autopilot trading service will basically help simplify your trading life. There's a link to basically go check it out. Give it a try for 3 months. See how you like it. And there's a QR code. Just take a snapshot of that QR code. It'll take you directly to the sign-up page for that. So as we like to say, hey, all materials are for training purposes. Traders should always pay per trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or promise for future performance. Now the tip. I know you're waiting for the tip. The trading tip. If you're distracted by just market noise, all the bells and whistles, what are some of the things you can do to basically put muffles on your ears so you're not listening to the noise? Well, one of the things you can do is turn off your if you're basically keep your trading platform on during the day, turn off your P&L. Because if your P&L is on, you'll be constantly going to check it, throughout the day to say, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up. What that in turn does is it stirs up emotions, causing you to potentially do compulsive trading and also impulsive trading, and which are never a good combination on generating profits. A little story that goes along with that is back in the day, long time before Steve or Anil or myself, but back in the olden days when they basically brought the ticker tape machine into the bucket shops, the brokerage houses did this. What they found was the ticker tape machines that they were going tick, 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 and spitting out the prices, that solicited emotional response from the people who were placing trades, They overtraded. They would make dumb, stupid trades, compulsive, impulsive, and they wound up losing money. And our modern day bucket shops, if you will, if you ever notice, the financial networks, what do they put across the bottom of the pictures? The ticker symbols going across. And it does the same thing today. So in other words, if you want to, improve your profits, turn off the noise. And this is one way to do it. Turn your P&L off. So Steve and Neil, what's one suggestion you would have on turned off the noise?
I certainly do not listen to CNBC live.
Okay.
Other people like to have it on, in the background kind of. I turn it off. I don't know. I don't want to know what they're saying and what their guests are saying.
Okay, cool. Neil?
What I have learned is like what you said is just like right. I don't look at my P&L, what's going on, but rather the stocks that I have, I look at them on my system of triple screen. That how are they behaving, and do they need any action?
So, do you watch that throughout the day, the triple screen?
No, it just around 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So an hour before the close.
Yeah, hour before the close, I take a look at it.
Okay, excellent. So thank you, gentlemen. And so there you guys have it. Some good tips on how to eliminate the noise, because with the noise come the little voices that will basically try to convince you that, yeah, you really need to take this trade. 2022, patience, persistence, consistency. That's what we're working for. So have a great week. Aloha. So far, I am. Yeah, David, all of our sell, all of our, David says all of our buy and sell triggers came from CNBC and Bloomberg. No. Anyway, aloha, trade well, prosper. And guys, mahalo and God bless. Stephen and Neil, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.